rest until we complete the mission. We will not rest until we complete the mission. If you want to throw one out in there, too, let's try that.
All right.
Oh my gosh. That's I could have talk about feats of strength. Oh my goodness. I mean, the same thing with Jerry. So we've had Larry, Jerry, Kramer. More to go. Oh well. I mean, come on, for sure. So during that conversation, what happened with Kristaps Porzingis, Christopher?
Okay, I don't know exactly what this injury is, but here's what it's called. The Celtics have announced that he suffered a torn medial retinaculum, allowing a dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon. There's an L in there.
What's happening, man? Hope everybody's good. Let me know you're there. Let me know you can hear me. Raul, you got me? You got me loud and clear. 1, 2, 3.
It's a rare injury. Thank you. His availability for upcoming games will be determined day to day.
We have come up with a new segment. Chris Brockman tries to read off different body parts.
Porzingis spoke a minute ago. Said he doesn't know what the risk of re-injury would be. Said he can't trick the medical staff into letting him play if they don't think he's ready.
Yep, thank you.
I will try.
I guess this is just the finals version of the Eastern Conference Finals, which is don't have to play him again potentially, or you have to play him. If you're beating your opponent, you have to play him. So you sit him in game three, and see if you come up with the dub.
Metrics with him on the court are much better. When he's not on the court, he's plus 25 in the series.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Obviously, but
also something about Luka. He got a shot in his chest to numb the pain. He was suffering from
thoracic.
Yeah, thoracic contusion.
Thoracic part.
He got a pain-killing injection before game 2 to numb the area of his.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? I hope everyone's good today. What do you want to talk about today? Raiders mini camp is going on. I'm here in studio.
One of my superpowers is I don't need
Fucking balls hurt already. Is the new reads. You don't need the.
Thank you.
Well, there's a black hole in here. Actually.
Okay, thank you. Good. We have that.
About 6 minutes.
All right.
I sent you the 2 throws.
Okay.
This is big. If I'm a Bills fan, I'm listening to this here. Joe Burrow here
Yeah, we're going to be on YouTube as many opportunities as I can get. We're going to try to do this YouTube thing and build it up. That's why I need people subscribing. And I need you to share this page with your YouTube buddies and everybody else in the Raider Nation. I want to get this thing up to a real channel where there's thousands upon thousands of people. It's a slow time of year. So we're trying to build this thing and work out the kinks. I think we've worked out some of them. And I enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun. I do enjoy doing this.
He's playing the piano. So it's not just with his left hand. You know what I mean? I don't know. Huh?
Yes, yesterday was hot. Today seems just as hot. Man, the weather out here. Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. But I was in Chicago last week for a few days for Mike Ditka and had a really good time. Excited about that.
If he's learning how to play the piano and he's using, he's clicking on YouTube videos to learn how to play the piano, I think he's good. Rehab process, he starts, playing Tchaikovsky. All of a sudden he's Ludwig van Burrow.
What do you, did anybody see Media Day yesterday? Did you get a chance to see that stream? And if you're not here for the Raiders and somewhere else, that's also great. Maybe you don't care about the Raiders. You're just tuning in to hear sports, which we appreciate that too. But good day yesterday, man. We got a lot of good access at Media Day. Man, it was good.
For the ones who keep stadiums buzzing and shop floors running, there's Grainger. Keep your operations humming with professional-grade maintenance, safety, and industrial products from Grainger.
All right, tweets out. I'm going to probably need some water here. My throat is not great. Yeah, it was a good show yesterday, man. The Raiders really did us up pretty well yesterday. That's for sure.
They'll tackle your toughest questions to help you move your team forward. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach.
What do you like? Do you think Dallas can win a game in this NBA Finals, or are they going to get swept? What do you think of that?
The Aviators are returning home for a 6-game homestand as they'll host the Salt Lake Bees at the Las Vegas ballpark. The Bees are the AAA affiliate of the Angels, and they'll be looking to sting the Aviators and grab some wins. But the Aviators will attempt to shoo these Bees away and grab some June victories. Listen in Tuesday through Saturday with the first pitch at 7:05, while on Sunday the game will start at 12:05. Right here
On game, one on game for Dallas. What do you mean on game for Dallas? Yeah, Lakers lost out on Danny Hurley. I did a lot of that yesterday. I am going to get some water because my throat is scratchy. I'll be right back.
Southeastern Avenue. This is Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM, the home of Raider Nation. When you need legal advice, you need the brothers. You need the Castaverdi Law Firm. This is JT. They're my attorneys, and they should be yours too. For personal injuries and accidents, reach out to the Castaverdi Law Firm. Let their family fight for yours. Hey everyone, it's Joey from Sky Diamonds in Town Square. Did you know we pay top dollar for Rolexes and natural diamonds? We're also a full-service repair center for all your jewelry. Come to our beautiful showroom and sell your diamonds and Rolexes in a comfortable luxury store located in Town Square.
Honey Davidson here from WebMoneyHoney.com. Have you ever felt like the odd man out at a friend's house watching the game? After years in the sports betting industry, I can teach you the rules of different sporting events so you can now be part of that crowd of cheering fans with an understanding of the game. Plus, I can teach you how to place a bet on a game which will completely change your perspective because you too can be a winner. Join me at BetMoneyHoney.com. That's BetMoneyHoney.com.
Running a business gets more complicated every year, so you need a trusted advisor in your corner, especially when it comes to your workers' comp program. Pro Group Management has been helping Nevada's self-insured businesses for over 20 years. Whether your business is retail, trucking, building, agriculture, or auto, our team has the expertise to make sure your coverage meets your needs. And at a price that fits your budget. Our award-winning team keeps track of all the important regulatory issues that impact your business. We help with safety, compliance, and inspections, because that's what you should expect from a trusted business partner. Find out how to have Pro Group Management work for you. Visit our website at pgmnv.com to receive a free cost savings analysis now. That's pgmnv.com, or call our Las Vegas office at 702-740-4380. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
The Honda you want is here. Now's the perfect time to drive in the moment. With rugged and capable Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot. Find your adventure with great offers now available on the Honda you want. And when you're driving a Honda, you're driving the brand name Kelly Blue Book's KVD.com Best Value Brand for 2023.
See dealer for financing details for stock 2023 by Neighbor Shores from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KVD.com for more information.
For over 20 years, the experts at LendingStore.com have provided consumers with quick access to lenders and all credit types of loan. Now, cash is as close as your phone and as soon as tomorrow. When you need cash, you need it now. So why wait? Got bills today? Get cash tomorrow. Visit LendingStore.com. Get the cash you need now.
right.
LendingStore.com today for details. See website details. Lender is not the lender decision. Must be 18 years old.
Currently, Crosby, Myers, and Nate Hobbs are talking.
Well, Max and who else?
And hold on, Jacoby Myers and Nate Hobbs.
I like a little Jacoby Myers.
All right, I'll be cutting up right now. That's the other ones from earlier today.
It's time for JT the Brick.
O'Connell takes the snap, throws it out to him. He's going to throw to the end zone. Touchdown.
You know, I thought at the end of the year it was nice. Allegiant Stadium started to turn into a home field advantage. You could hear the roar of the crowd.
Well, to me, it's not just like right way, and it's our way.
Vegas is the global hub of the Raider Nation. Now it's got to act that way every home game.
Raider Nation, as I always say, you show up and we'll show out.
JT the Brick.
It's a real thing. It's a tangible thing. You get in the building and you feel it.
It's a war to track down Kansas City. I've always been a big fan of running the football.
Hand up to Zamir, cuts to the right side. First down 35, first 40, down the 50, near side 40, 35-30, and Zamir White might have just salted away a Raiders win.
I'm always looking for opportunities to compete, man, and this is a great one here.
And now,
Raider Nation. Yes, if you're on YouTube, you can see me play the drums. I'm playing the drums as we open up the show, but you got to be on YouTube. JT the Brick YT on YouTube as we're building this channel. So on days where I can't be out at the Intermountain Healthcare Performance Center because my show's on at noon, you could check the show out live. How about yesterday, Media Day, for those who watched and were part of that big download? Thanks a lot for doing that. We had a big day yesterday over at the Raiders headquarters. That was one of the longest days, and the only guy in all of radio, Bobby, anywhere in the world who did a longer shift than me yesterday was Q Myers, because Q did the 3.5-hour live stream. Then he did his 3-hour show. Then he did his ESPN show. I did the 3-hour live stream, an hour of the show yesterday, thanks to Harry Ruiz for 1 hour. And then I did my show last night at Wynn for Mad Dog. And I came home and I dove in the pool. I had myself an ice cold Modelo, and I went to bed early. Now, Bobby, the problem is I'm a late night guy, as you know, late night guy. I watch late night. I'm a late night guy. So I went to bed before 10 o'clock and I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, which isn't good. I think I went back to bed, not sure. And I'm having one of those days today. Good meeting, big announcement with the show. Big announcement with the show with a new partner. Can't wait to tell you about it. Might be able to sneak it in. But we like to have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, which we did today. So I'm excited to tell you about a new proud partner who I partake with a lot. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Good fits here. We got great partners here, and that was a long day yesterday. Tonight I'm going to the Aviators. I can walk to the Aviators, but I don't walk this time of year, Bobby. Sometimes when I walk in the hood on the mean streets of Summerlin. I walk to the stadium and back, but I cannot walk there in the heat tonight. So my wife or my son will be the Uber driver. I will have cold cervezas and be with my buddy Wags and have a good time. So I'm going to go to the Aviators tonight, Jim Gem and the Aviators, Donnie Logan. And then Friday, I get to be a part of the MC team for the Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Fame. Can't wait for that. One of the biggest nights in all of Vegas for sports remains the Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Fame. I had to decline their golf invitation today, which pains me, to be on the radio, which pays me. Now that rhymes, right? It pains me to miss out on free golf because you know I love me some free golf. But I want to grind out today because I got a lot of partners I got to thank and get that going. So I'm ready to roll. Anything you want to talk about? Again, Raiders minicamp. We saw a lot of guys hitting pads today. Paul Gutierrez, Q Myers, Vic Taford, Tashawn Reed, the eyes and the ears of the Raider Nation, the insiders, no bigger and better. Oh, we love Vinny Bonsignor out there, and we're excited about that. So if you are a fan of the Raiders and you want to talk about the Raiders, nothing happens. Here's what we are worried about. All we worry about, because they don't practice anymore in the NFL. They don't practice. They go to class. They lift a lot of weights. They do. They lift a lot of weights and they work out. Man, the Raiders do that. Max first in, last to leave, they do that. But the problem is they don't play a lot of football in pads. They hit blocking sleds and they fake tackle. I don't put a lot into that. I do. Who's there? Who's not there? who's hurt. Colton Miller coming off shoulder surgery. He's on the sideline. Good information for the flagship. Everybody else there who checks off and they're there for mandatory minicamp is a good thing. So with all of that being said, we're going to do our summertime radio, I believe, starting July 8th. It's June 11th. So we might go a little bit earlier, depending on what our schedule is going to be like in Costa Mesa, as I'll be out at Raiders training camp in Costa Mesa. But I want to give everybody a break for the 4th of July. You notice none of our insiders come on. I don't call a lot of people. I don't ask guests, a lot of them, to come on with Raiders in the summer because we count on them during the season. And when I need them the most, I need them in the season, so we give them a break. And then July 4th this year is on a Thursday, which is nice. And I'll be in Vancouver for the Rolling Stones for several of those days. And then on July 8th, we begin our specialty summer programming, the greatest 10 games in Raider history. From 10 to 1, the greatest games in Raider history. Not the most important, not your favorite. We're going to put this together. We're going to grind it out. We need about 2 more weeks to prepare it. Bobby's got to go get a lot of sound. Fortunately, he has the sound. Al Davis quotes after the Super Bowl, highlights from Bill King on all those great games. Look, Raider Nation, I'm always brutally honest with you. The greatest games in Raider history were mostly in the 70s and 80s. You got me? They were in the 70s and 80s and the 60s. When you look at the 60s, the 11 Angry Men in the 67 championship. And then the last I looked, Ghost to the Post, Sea of Hands, Red Right 88. You see where I'm going here? And I got to find a way to get the modern day in. 63 points against the Chargers. So they're going to have some honorable mentions. And that's where Bobby and I and another friend of mine are putting a lot of work together and trying to figure out who doesn't make the top 10, what games don't make the top 10, but what get honorable mention, which just came to me the other day. There was a 5-game streak where George Blanda, remember on the cover of Sports Illustrated, 5 games, he won 4 of them and tied 1 of them. And it really was the biggest stretch in NFL history for a Hall of Famer. So maybe we'll take all 4 or 5 of those games and combine them into one. And we're thinking about that. Now, the biggest development is we're not going to include any losses. And I don't know if that's right, because I know that the Tuck Rule game and I know that the Immaculate Reception are 2 of the biggest games in Raider history. They are. They get more coverage than some of the wins. The Tuck Rule gets more coverage nowadays than Goes to the Post. But it was a loss, and the Raiders are not about losing. And on their flagship station, I'm not going to put losses into any category. But we're going to have that, and we're building it up, and we're working here, and we're going to put that together, and we're going to have fun. And that's going to start July 8th. If it starts a little bit earlier, I'll let you know about that. And then we're going to try to take that through training camp and get you to the preseason games. The preseason schedule is awesome. Awesome to have the Cowboys and the Niners at home. And I think the guys are going to play in the preseason. They better. We got to play in the preseason. I mean, we didn't make the playoffs. When was the last time we, the season ticket holders, won a playoff game? Got to play in the preseason. I got to get Brock Bowers going with this Michael Mayer deal that we talked about yesterday. I interviewed both of them yesterday, Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers. Well, we're not going to not play him at all and say, hey, we're opening up against Jim Harbaugh. Go run the plays we ran in practice. We got to get some guys some reps around here. And I think these guys want to play. And I know Antonio Pierce is fired up to see these guys play. So that's my opening as we open up the show. And we'll get ready. Jacoby Myers in a little bit. He spoke. Jeff Sherman with the moving odds over at the Westgate. He'll join us at 12:45 Pacific, and we'll get into what's happening with the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. I was talking to Bobby. We're pretty upset that the Golden Knights aren't playing in the Stanley Cup via that Edmonton's a no-show, and Edmonton can't score a goal with Draisaitl and the great Connor McDavid. I mean, I could get Jonathan Marchessault and William Karlsson and Stone off the golf course today and get them to play, and they would put up a better fight than Edmonton. It looks like it's all Florida. And didn't we beat Florida in the Cup? I mean, why the hell are we not in the Stanley Cup? You're telling me we, the Golden Knights, lost in Game 7 at Dallas, and Dallas didn't even make it to the Stanley Cup? God, we blew that. needed to be there. So I'm trying to watch a little bit of hockey here, but there's a couple of other things that I want to lead with and get going here also. Bobby, do we have that Robert Saleh sound also coming up? We'll get to that in a little bit, and we'll talk about Aaron Rodgers, who didn't show up at minicamp today. So Aaron Rodgers, as I emailed, didn't show up at minicamp today, and that's a big story because it broke the internet in New York. He has an unexcused absence on the first day of minicamp. That's pretty big. Now, supposedly he's going to an event that's very important to him that he wanted to go to. But look, I think the most important events that you have to attend in life, the most important are funerals. Funerals, if you can go to a funeral, you should. If someone in your life passes away, you should be at their funeral. If they mean something to you, and other times you just can't go. I get it. And weddings. If you got a wedding or a funeral, you can't make it, I'm good. But all of New York, New Jersey is trying to figure out exactly what's going on with Aaron Rodgers as he's not there. So that's leading Sports Center. It's leading New York. Everybody's talking about that. So we'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. I mean, we could have had Aaron Rodgers, but we would have had to come up with $50 million a year. $50 million a year for him. And that the Raiders couldn't do that. Remember, the Raiders didn't pay Khalil Mack because at the time he wanted $90 million. I was there for that. I had a front row seat. He wanted $60 million up front. I love Khalil Mack. He's one of my favorite Raiders. Last summer, we did the big event, the top Raider players of all time. Khalil Mack was on the list. So at times there are moves that you make or don't make because of money. And that leads me to Danny Hurley turning down the Lakers. Wow, that was a big one. I did a whole show on this last night. I'll just give you a taste here in the monologue. Brought to you by PT's. 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. Close to 70 taverns now. 70 taverns for PT's and Golden Entertainment, and they also own the Strat. So Danny Hurley turned down the Lakers because they didn't pay him enough. That's it. That's all you need to know. They offered 6 years, $70 million. That's not enough. Monty Williams makes more than that. Eric Spoelstra, who's won championships, makes more than that, but I think you got to pay Danny Hurley. You got to overpay for him for the Lakers. So I'm bringing this up because a lot of the streamers who are watching and a lot of our listeners are either Laker fans or Warrior fans. You can't pay Danny Hurley 17.5. That's what Steve Kerr gets. And Greg Popovich gets $17 million a year. So you got to move those two aside. But the Lakers weren't able to pay him in the top 5. They were going to pay him in the top 6. And Danny Hurley looked at it and said, I'm going to stay at UConn and go for a three-peat. So that's where we're at there. Big story, biggest story in sports is Danny Hurley. Not mini camps. Nope, not mini camps. It's Danny Hurley turning down the Lakers. When you turn down a team for money, the team that you turn down at times looks cheap. Lakers aren't cheap. I don't think the Lakers are cheap. Lakers didn't want to give him $100 million. It would have took $110 million to probably get the deal done. Lakers didn't want to do that. Just like the Raiders didn't want to pay Aaron Rodgers $50 million a year guaranteed. Remember, Aaron Rodgers' money is guaranteed, as Barkley would say. Not one of those guys where Aaron Rodgers is going, hey, let me redo my deal after year 1 or year 2. Brady and Mahomes did that. Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that. Aaron Rodgers wants to get paid. As the great philosopher Randy Moss once said, straight cash homie. And Aaron Rodgers didn't show up for the first day of work. It's work. You got to show up to work. You know, if you get vacation, you don't have to show up. Or, you know, now these football players, the Raiders are going to have mini camp for the next couple of days and be gone. Take the wife to Cabo. Absolutely. Get to the mountains. Get to Lake Tahoe. Get the hell out of Vegas because we bake like potatoes in June, July, and August. Well, when it's mandatory minicamp, you're supposed to be at work. So keep an eye on that story there because we get no attention, the Raider Nation. We get no attention. I mentioned it lightly to Antonio Pierce yesterday. He don't care about that. That's one thing about Antonio Pierce and me. You know, I'm getting to know him. I get to interview him. I'm not going to go down the media front because he was in the media. He worked at ESPN. He worked on the Howard Stern show. He knows media. And he knows better than me and anybody else. He's the coach. I'm just, you know, a bloviator talking on the radio here. And, you know, I think I bring some things to the table, but I'm not the head coach. And I think the head coach and everyone in that organization realizes that media day yesterday was us, Raiders media, in-house, Eric Allen, Q Myers, myself. And we were talking to all the players and coaches because the NFL is only going to be interested maybe 3 days. NFL Network's going to put in a request. Sirius XM NFL Radio is going to put in a request. And they're going to get a hotel room or two paid for and come out to Vegas and visit with the Raiders. But they'd rather give more love to Denver. Raiders beat them 8 in a row. Or the Chargers, who have only won 5 games last year. So we're at the bottom of the barrel in regards to media coverage. The bottom of the barrel. So I wake up today and my cousin, who is living in Danville, up in the Bay Area, he trolled me, my cousin. He said, did you see the Christian McCaffrey cover of the Madden video? And the Madden video game is based on John Madden, one of the greatest Raiders of all time. I go, what are you talking about? And I click it on. It's got Christian McCaffrey running away from the Raiders on defense. I said, whoa, wait a second. What's with this troll? A lot of people say, what's with that shrapnel coming the Raiders' way? So somebody on Park Avenue had the Raiders start their season on the road against the Harbaugh brothers. I think that's impossible to do. You want a conspiracy theory? I'll give you one. There's no way you can sit in the boardroom. Okay, there's no way you can sit in the boardroom on Park Avenue where NFL headquarters are and release the schedule and say the Raiders are going to open up with 2 on the road against the Harbaugh brothers. What are the odds of that? That's like a penguin being struck by lightning in Antarctica. What are the odds of that opening up on the road against the Harbaugh brothers? And then what are the odds of Christian McCaffrey, an NFC superstar playing in the NFC West, running away from Raider defenders in the Madden cover? What are the odds of that? I would say that's very small. I mean, that's impossible. So who the hell's approving that? Does anybody not know that John Madden was the iconic coach of the Raiders who put his name and the brand on the Madden video game? Or I don't know, Bobby, I could be wrong here. I go fast. Maybe is that the national cover, or is that like a West Coast cover for just Santa Clara and Vegas? I don't know. I mean, he couldn't be running away from the LA Rams. Yeah. He couldn't be running away from the Seattle Seahawks. Couldn't be running away from another. Cowboys. I don't know. The Packers, they always beat the Packers. They came from behind against Detroit to go to the Super Bowl. They couldn't have the Lions in the background there. Can someone fill me in on that? Because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, man. I'm not, because I hate conspiracy theories when it deals with buildings and children and other things. I go nuts on that stuff. Nuts. But when it comes to the Raiders, I thought that was weird today. Yeah. I thought it was a little bit strange today when I clicked on and saw that. So I want to know what you think about that also. That's called catching shrapnel or being trolled. And you don't troll Mark Davis, and you don't troll the legend of Al Davis, and you don't troll Max Crosby and these guys. As Vince Lombardi said, what in the hell's going on out there? Sean on the live stream on YouTube looking at me. Looks like the Raiders are the new scapegoats of the NFL.
What do you mean new?
What do you mean new? What are you talking about new? Didn't we just host a Super Bowl here and do a fabulous job? Opening up for all those other NFL owners? Aren't we bringing all this additional revenue to these NFL owners and their wives who get to come and stay at the Wynn and stay at all the Encore and stay at the Fontainebleau and Resorts World? And they go shopping and buying bags and new dresses. I mean, didn't we enable all the wives of the owners to come out to Vegas instead of having to travel to Detroit or have to travel to Jacksonville? Who the hell's on us? What did we do? Raider Nation Unite, 702-365-9200. So being there yesterday, and I'm just going to be careful with this because I like to show respect. Things were just different yesterday. Eric Allen said it. The players said it to me. So we're all insinuating it's different under Antonio Pierce than Josh McDaniels. I have no problem with that topic. I wanted Josh McDaniels to win. I wanted him to take the Raiders to greatness. He was brought in to do that. It didn't work out. He was replaced by interim head coach Antonio Pierce, who's now the head coach. I want him to win just as much as I wanted Tom Cable to win and Lane Kiffin to win and Art Shell and all these guys that North Turner, who I worked for. I wanted all of them to win every game. Wanted them to win every game. But it seems to be a little bit different here, or a lot different, under Antonio Pierce, where players are encouraged to talk to the in-house media. It's not jumping through hoops to talk to players now. Players want to come on and be themselves. That was the big term I got yesterday from looking all these guys in the eyes. You know, Christian Wilkins wasn't here last year, so he doesn't know about the former regime. And most of the people in the former regimes were great people. Dave Ziegler, great guy. Mike Mayock, great guy. John Gruden, you know how much I feel about Coach Gruden. Everybody who comes in here wants to win, but it's different under Antonio Pierce. And Eric Allen told me that. He said, it's just different now, isn't it? I go, yeah, that's what the players tell us. It feels different that fans now could get this from us because we're in the building. That's really the only access we have that you don't have. You know just as much. You're Raider fans. You get all the information like we do, but we every once in a while get a key card and can go to practice and get in the building. And yesterday was a big deal for me to say that things look really different. It had a different feel to it, and it felt like the players were more relaxed. Now, that will only go so far for Mark Davis, who wants to win. And you're going to have a cigar party, go ahead. You can be loose on media day, go ahead. Do whatever you want to do. He encourages it. Have a good time, but win. Play like hell on Sunday. So I think this team is on a really nice path because of the coaches, their conditioning, the amount of veterans that are on this team in their prime. You know, Max is in the beginning of his prime, right? His prime. He was a 4th-round pick out of Eastern Michigan. And his first 3 years were exceptional, but he was brand new. Now he's in his prime. He's just starting it. Devontae Adams, I think he told us yesterday, his 11th season. He's somewhere in his prime. Is he at the end of his prime? Near the end of his prime? I don't know. I'm going to see how he does this year. You know how much I think of him. He's a brilliant player. Absolutely brilliant player. Robert Spillane's in his prime. Nate Hobbs is in the beginning of his prime. Colton Miller is in his absolute prime. No matter how many years you think Colton's going to play, he's in his prime. And then Gardner Minshew is kind of in his prime at 28 years old. But now you can play till 40. You can be great at 38, 35. Look at the career of Rich Gannon. I'll tell you a kid who isn't in his prime at all is Zamir White. Zeus, he's a big part of this offense. He's going to have to play at a very high level, and he's young. We don't know what he can do. We only watch 4 games. But he looks like a beast in the weight room and at practice. So we got a lot of information yesterday. And all of it was pretty good. And for those guys out there that want to mock me and say, well, JT, you think everything's good. No, I don't. I host a post-game show. When you're leaving the stadium, I'm in there. I'm in the building hosting the post-game show when they lose. So I don't think everything is beautiful. You know, the post-game show saves me because if they play bad, I say it. How'd they lose? They scored 0 points against Minnesota. 0. Go back and listen to that post-game show and tell me how big of a homer I was that day. You know, there's some games they're going to win or lose. If they lose for dumb reasons, turnovers, mistakes, a bad call, whatever it is, we're going to talk about it. But at this point in time, we want the Raiders to win. We're a flagship partner of them. We're trying to find the good things about the team. Are there bad things about the team right now? I don't think so. Does anybody think there's anything bad going on? Because a couple of fans who are Raider fans are throwing out false propaganda that we don't have a quarterback. Quote, we don't have a quarterback. I'm like, yeah, we do. We got Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. They're pretty good. Well, they're not elite. So that spurs negativity. That spurs a quarterback controversy and battle. And I know what's going to happen. Come on, give me a little bit of credit. What's going to happen is between the first and second preseason game, we go to Minnesota, before Dallas and San Francisco, someone's going to say something about the quarterback. Someone, the coach, one of the quarterbacks, someone in the media is going to say something that isn't accurate about the quarterback competition. And then we're going to have a little tiny forest fire in the corner, little bit of fire. We're not going to have to bring in the tankers, the heavy tankers to douse it. And we can douse that fire out. But eventually, in August, we are going to have a real conversation about the quarterback. And you will lead that conversation. You will lead that conversation. You will say, hey, I want this guy to play or that guy to play. But I don't want to do that now, man. A lot of young radio hosts jump the gun, man. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that in June. I don't know who's going to be the quarterback. Aiden O'Connell has a razor-thin advantage. Antonio Pierce letting him start, I'm assuming, training camp and possibly the preseason, unless Gardner Minshew outplays him in training camp. If Gardner Minshew comes in there in training camp, the next thing you know, it's pop, 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 Devontae touchdowns, unbelievable scrambles, everything looks great. Maybe Gardner Minshew can be named the starter, but I doubt it. I think it's going to take the preseason to get that going. Pig 76 says it's refreshing. It's refreshing at this point, a quarterback competition. Should help the culture of the team push to its best. I agree 100% with that. I do. I agree 100% with that. A quarterback battle, Derek Carr didn't have one. That's a topic. That's a podcast. How come Derek Carr never had a quarterback battle?
They never got another one.
They never got another quarterback. They didn't think it was a necessity to go out and draft a quarterback in the first round and say, hey, Derek, it's been really good, but you're not winning playoff games. We're bringing someone else. No, didn't happen. And Derek earned the spot. He was a hell of a leader and a very good quarterback. And he would have beat out the competition. He had played 9 years here. If you gave him competition, year 4 through 8, he would have beat out that competition. But I don't know what's going to happen now. I just think it's going to be interesting and very entertaining, and we're going to get rolling with that. 702-365-9200. Bobby unplugged the phones. He said they work today. Yeah. I got a lot of other content, and we'd like to hear from you today. We came off a big day yesterday. A lot of people streaming the download and taking a look at that as we open it up. Resorts World is proud to present culinary collaboration, Pan-Asian pop-up dinner featuring the Food Network's favorite celebrity chef couple, Chefs Jeff and Ali Tila. It's happening July 1st with Chef Ty Ronan at Crossroads Kitchen at Resorts World, a great place to be and our proud partner. All right. How long was that? 27 minutes of pure radio. Pure radio.
Okay, JT, you're going to be leading off. Hold on, okay?
The Raiders are going to be playing a lot of ball personnel, one running back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. That's going to take Trey Tucker off the field. I do think that he's going to be an even bigger weapon than he was last year.
You got Jacoby Myers, 2. You got 145, so
Yeah.
probably nothing new right now.
Yep. Good. Hello, everyone. Raider Dom Yankees. I'm happy with my Yankees. I'm normally not. I'm happy with my Yankees.
Don't miss Grammy Award-winning Brothers live at In Resort August 2nd. Tickets on sale starting June 14th.
Thor, Raider Nation Drinking Club. It's the off season and hope springs eternal. My mom always used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all. I'm optimistic as possible about our Raiders. So am I, Thor.
Max Crosby coming back.
Cool. Yep.
All right.
So called here.
Yep. Go to JT from Moab, Utah.
Yep, you're right. Mm-hmm.
And the other 2 pages of Black Hole and Remy. Underneath those.
Stay safe and let's conquer those germs together. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and the station.
Your Las Vegas Aviators are taking on the Los Angeles Angels AAA affiliate, those busy Salt Lake Bees. And here's the rundown. Tuesday, June 11th, your Aviators become Reyes Nevada. Wednesday the 12th, it's Burn Burn, so bring your dog. Thursday the 13th, $2 beer night. Friday the 14th, come see the spectacular post-game fireworks show. And Saturday the 15th, it's you.
Edgar, we need to start winning, period. That takes care of all the negative crap. I agree. But we got to do a radio show June, July, and August where there are no games until August. So we got to assume they're going to win, or you can assume they're not going to win. And I'm going to assume they're going to win. I'd rather live my life that way. Iceman, great interviews yesterday. Thank you.
Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store built in, along with legendary Volvo safety, it's the SUV you've been waiting for. Learn more about the XC40 Recharge at FinleyVolvo.com. This is JT for Grimaldi's Pizzeria, that famous New York style coal-fired pickup and pizza that you crave. 4 locations in the Valley, Polka Park in Summerlin, on the Strip at the Palazzo, Southwest Las Vegas on South Rainbow, and in Green Valley on Southeastern Avenue. Hey, it's Chris Fox. Yes, I rock you in the morning, but in the afternoon, I could roll you into a new house. I'm a Las Vegas realtor with Simply Vegas. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, call me 702-419-4346 or check out thechrisfox.com. Simply Vegas, program number 1000960.
A soccer tournament in North and South America is coming, and Circa Resort and Casino is the place to catch all the games. Take in all the Copa America action at Circa Sportsbook. 3 stories of soccer glory with booths and recliners available. All games will be shown with watch parties for Team USA and Team Mexico.
Oh, yes. My buddies are listening and texting me, and they love the content today. They want the Raiders to decide earlier on the quarterback. I'm like, I don't know when they're going to make a decision.
You know, I thought Pierce had the greatest freaking line yesterday. Don't worry about our quarterback. Worry about your quarterback.
Yeah. That's good for an open, dude. By the way, there's some good stuff there from him for an open.
I listened to the whole 4 hours.
Good.
Shouldn't it be you? Start your summer with bonus checking at Clark County Credit Union. Anyone can join. Isn't it about time you became a member? Funds privately insured by American Share Insurance. Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by PT's. The best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
You know, I feel like every year, you have a lot of excitement, anticipation, things like that. At the end of the day, it's just about discipline. Motivation can only take you so far. We got to get disciplined and get better every day. So if we have that mindset and let that bleed through the team, that's what I'm focused on. That's the guys like Christian, guys like Aiden, the leaders stepping up, Spill as well. Like all those guys are, pushing their rooms, and everybody's trying to get, to the best possible level they can get to. So that's our main focus right now.
That is Mad Max Crosby. There's enough leaders on this team. The leadership is not a problem. Devontae, Max, they got leaders. There's leaders all over the team. The coaches, Joe Philbin, Marvin Lewis, there's plenty of leaders. The leaders is not going to be the problem. Inexperience at starting quarterback's an issue for Aiden O'Connell until he plays in the league longer and he gets more experience and not just more starts. And he played a lot last year. Considering not a lot of people who predicted Jimmy G would get hurt, I was not one of them. But Jimmy G going down gave Aiden O'Connell a head start. Most rookies don't play. 4th-round picks don't play. And he was able to play. How would you like to be Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis? Top pick, high pick in the 1st round. He didn't play much. He was hurt. So Aiden O'Connell's got some good experience under his wing here. Let's see if he can take advantage of it. Camp's going to be really important for him, man. He's got a lot of defensive competition coming at him every day when they go live, and that's only going to make him better. JT is in Moab, Utah, where I once went to a great breakfast joint there as I was driving up to Telluride. What's the name of that breakfast joint, JT, there in Moab?
I'm not sure. Probably the Wagon Wheel.
Maybe it was the Wagon Wheel. That could
Maybe.
be it. What's on your mind? Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say yesterday was awesome with Media Day.
Mm-hmm.
It was great to hear your guys' interview and that face merch thing. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I liked it. Well, when I popped on the show today, I heard you talking about the Madden cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got to say, when I first saw it, I actually texted one of my friends. He's a Niners fan. And I just said, yikes, Madden curse, especially with the Raiders chasing him down in the background. So
yeah, we don't
wish harm on anybody, but
well, we don't want to wish harm on anybody. I don't want to wish harm on Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know what all the curses are. All I know is it's happened quite often.
Well, why do you think they put the Raiders on the cover of Madden when they didn't have to, and it's an AFC team? Why did they do that? What was the decision? Can we guess why they did that?
Best looking uniforms in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Rivals.
Yeah, I mean, you really think the Niners, you don't think the Niners have a bigger rivalry with the Cowboys or the Seahawks or the Rams or Packers as of late. I don't know. Were you surprised?
I don't know. That Bay
Were
Area
you
rivalry,
surprised?
I think is still alive.
Were you surprised when you saw Christian McCaffrey running away from the Raiders on the cover of Madden?
Yes.
Yeah, I was
I looked
surprised
at
too.
it like the Raiders were chasing him down, but I was surprised. And you can't tell who they are. It's like cut off half and half.
Yeah, you can't tell which player it is. Thanks for the call, JT. Appreciate it there. Look, it's something. I'm not going to do a show on it, but my kids were Madden freaks. They still play it. I think my kids now are playing FIFA soccer more. My youngest one. And how about that, Bobby? My youngest turns 21 next Wednesday, June 18th. So my youngest son turns 21 next Wednesday, and he lives in Vegas. So I got to call my bottle service guys. Do I get a discount on a Wednesday? Sending them out to bottle service. What do you, as a dad in Vegas who's got the hookups, not just meetup? I got the hookups. You know, I think I could get away. I really think I could get away with bottle service on Wednesday instead of Friday, Saturday, because Wednesday in Vegas is like Friday or Saturday in New York and LA, right?
You could probably pull that off. That sounds pretty good, but I mean, you got to convince the rest of the kids, hey, it's Wednesday night, but it's still Friday night, you know?
Right. You're right about that. That's it. You know, kids are working. Kids 20, 21 got jobs. My son's got a good job now, though, 20-year-old, so got to be careful on that. But
I got a better question. When do we start worrying about Grandpa JT?
Oh, there's none of that coming.
Uh-huh.
Knock wood. No, please. We want to do the Madden curse. We don't want to do that now. You know, we got a long way off on that, I hope. But my sons are doing great, and I appreciate you mentioning that. But that one threw me for a bit of a loop. But yeah, the bottle service thing, we're going to do dinner with him on Wednesday somewhere where he chooses, and we'll have a nice dinner. And then after that, we got to figure out, because 21 birthday's big. 21's big. You know, after that, before 30, you know, I think the biggest one, 21 and then 40. 30's not big. Yeah, 30's not.
I was working 30.
40's big. When people turn 40's big. And after that, you know, we're all blessed to have more birthdays after that. But I got a 21-year-old birthday coming up. Yep.
I got to say, my 18th birthday and my 21st birthday were memorable for somebody, but not for me.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to black out on your birthday. That's an 18.
Let's skip that part.
The odds of kids at 18. 18's a big one there, too. 702-365-9200. Oh, I got to mention Caitlyn Clark because I can tie that in now to the WNBA because the Aces are the two-time reigning champs. They're going for a three-peat. Everyone talks about Kansas City going for a three-peat. Just quick, if you didn't hear me say that on the other platforms, Caitlyn Clark does not deserve to play in the Olympics. She doesn't deserve it. She's brand new into the league. Her team stinks. Her team is terrible. Okay, they're basically taking professional WNBA players. But it is a pretty good debate on why the Dream Team took Christian Laettner. Now, Christian Laettner played on the Dream Team. He wasn't a good player. He was a great player. He was super elite. So much so that I have Christian Laettner on the all-time Mount Rushmore of college basketball, only trailing Lou Alcindor, who's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and the late, great Bill Walton. I have Christian Laettner either 3 or 4. He's that good. That amazing. Incredible. But Caitlyn Clark is not there yet. She played for Iowa, and Iowa couldn't beat South Carolina. There's some good players on South Carolina, too, college kids. So this is a firestorm of controversy, but I think it is good for the Aces. I really do. Because the Aces aren't getting all the attention that they should get going for a three-peat. Because Caitlyn Clark is taking all of the oxygen in the room. Not some of it. All of the oxygen is going to Caitlyn Clark. Becky Hammond, who's a great coach, not a good coach, great, has got to find a way to motivate the team. Not by dangling Caitlyn Clark's ratings in front of everybody, but reminding everybody, not only the Aces, but around the league, that one gal's getting all the coverage. She's done an incredible job. I don't know how some of these gals, it's not the Aces, it's not Asia Wilson, it's not Kelsey Plum, it's not them, Chelsea Gray, it's not them. It's how the other women in this sport are so bleeping jealous of her with these fouls and mocking her and laughing at her when she goes to the bench and all that. I can't believe what we've been seeing. It went from never being talked about on the radio to a national topic on all of national sports talk radio. I mean, national shows, Pat McAfee, Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick, Stephen A., go down the list. all of them are talking Caitlyn Clark and putting it in the A block every day. They're making that an A block storyline. Rightfully so, yeah, because she's moved the needle. She's been tremendous for sports this summer, and the summer just started. She is. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm spending about 2 or 3 minutes on it, but some shows are spending 2/3 of their show, 2 out of 3 hours, on Caitlyn Clark, because that's what's happening. Incredible when you see a sports topic that comes from nowhere. And I think the big loser in all this is NBC for having the Olympic Games this summer in Paris. Someone at NBC should lose their job for not going to USA women's basketball and saying, you got to understand this. We need Caitlyn Clark at the Olympics or no one's going to watch. I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to say I'm not going to watch at all, but unless I'm in front of the TV for the Olympics, I'm not tuning in most likely to women's basketball or men's basketball. I tune in for the swimming, the track and field, women's gymnastics. I'll tune in for all that. But the only time I'm watching something unique on the Olympics is if I'm watching the Olympics already and they pop on and go to it. I would have watched women's basketball at the Olympics if Caitlyn Clark was on the team. I would have watched it. I would have been very intrigued by it. We'll see what happens now. 702-365-9200. We got Jacoby Myers. He spoke to the media. I didn't hear it, so I want to hear that. Maybe next hour we'll lead with that. Jeff Sherman joins us from the Superbook over at the Westgate to talk about the moving odds. And remember, the Black Hole is home for football's most notorious fans. 40 chapters worldwide. Go to theblackhole.com and get a lifetime membership. Go check it out, theblackhole.com.
Previously on Unnecessary Roughness.
Having the former players in the building is going to continue to spread the sage and keep the exorcism going in the building. You understand what I'm saying? I actually expressing myself right. You know what I'm saying? I got you. I haven't ate yet today, so I don't know if the words are coming out clearly or if I'm expressing myself correctly. But you know what I mean. I do. Y'all, I'm gone. There he goes, Gangsta Raider. Yeah, I got you. Go get something to eat, man.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
The all-new 2025 Subaru Forester is the same trusted SUV it's always been. Only more so. More distinctive style. More advanced safety technology. And always the confidence of standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. The all-new 2025 Subaru Forester. Love begins with trust. Get as low as 4.9% financing for 36 months on the all-new 2025 Forester. SubaruLasVegas.com.
Hey everyone, it's Joey from Sky Diamonds in Town Square. Did you know we pay top dollar for Rolexes and natural diamonds? We are also a full-service repair center for all your jewelry. Come to our beautiful showroom and sell your diamonds and Rolexes in a comfortable luxury store located in Town Square.
Terribles is offering a gas discount of, check this, 40 cents per gallon with the purchase of a car wash at over 80 locations. That's right! Get 40 cents off per gallon of any fuel grade, including diesel, when you purchase a car wash in-store or at the pump. That way you can fill up and keep shining. Offer valid at participating locations. Visit Terribles.com to find a location near you. Terribles. Deliberately different since 1959.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father to our family to the expert legal team at DeCastroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the DeCastroverde Brothers, and we have your back.
BrothersWin.com.
The place for all your Raiders coverage is right here on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Where does a journey to wellness begin? Do you start looking for diet ideas? Or searching for exercise plans? Actually, you don't have to look far. Just look to the first two
All
letters
right,
of the
last
word
call.
wellness.
Last call
We
for
means
comment.
you don't have to figure it out yourself. It means your hopes and challenges are a perfect match for our knowledge and resources. It
I
means
love Olympic
anything you
swimming.
want to
I grew up a
achieve,
swimmer. I love
together,
Olympic swimming.
we
Michael
can achieve
Phelps,
better.
Mark Spitz,
Because wellness
my
begins
friend
with we.
Amy Van Dyken.
Intermountain Health,
Love Amy
the
Van
power of
Dyken.
we.
Hi, I'm Rob, owner of Desert
Thank you,
Springs
Tony.
Pools.
We
You may not
enjoyed
know this, but
yesterday.
we've been
That was
around
fun.
since
Tony
1994,
has
and we
the
built
Raiders
over
going
10,000 pools
12-5.
right here in Las Vegas.
12-5.
At Desert Springs Pools, we pride ourselves on excellent customer service, and the majority of our work is done in-house, which means you get the best pool at the best price. We make the process easy by assigning you a project manager that oversees your work from start to finish. We can do everything. Excavation and plaster in just 10 weeks. Call Desert Springs Pools today, and we'll get started on your dream pool.
License 37573-52987.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
When you need cash, how quickly can LendingStore.com connect you to a lender faster than this commercial? Whether you need cash for a medical bill, groceries, or rent, LendingStore.com's network of lenders makes it quick and easy. In less time than this ad, you can fill out a few fields at LendingStore.com and find out if a lender can get you $500 to $5,000 as early as tomorrow. So visit LendingStore.com today for details. See website for details. Lending Store is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
That wasn't a job.
It's very fun. It's different. I feel like everybody wants to be out here. You believe it or not, it's the NFL. You think everybody be like, everybody like, some people don't want to be in cold ass Buffalo. Some people don't want to be in Green Bay. Everybody wants to be here, and everybody has a respect level for each other.
Nate Hobbs. It's Nate Hobbs, man. He's got to have a big year. Can't have a good year. Nope. That's going to be another big category for me on Summertime Radio. Not interested in having a good year. I retweeted Paul Gutierrez today on Tyree Wilson. Don't want to hear that Tyree had a good year. Want it to be a great year. Jeff Sherman joins us, VP of Risk Management over at the Superbook at the Westgate. What a great job he does. All right, let's start with the Celtics and setting this line and people chasing this line. It looks like the Celtics, I didn't think they were an iconic team, Jeff, but they're on one hell of a roll. And with Luka hurt, how you setting these lines?
Yeah, they are on a roll. And, they had a wide separation all season for their power rating, number one versus anybody else. And we've seen that carry through for the playoffs, even though they had some games they struggled along the way. But the results are there. And now that they're up 2-0 in this series, going to Dallas, and usually you see that large adjustment for the team that's down 0-2 at home. And that's what we see here. We opened Dallas 1.5 against Boston in this game. It went up to 2.5 today. Porzingis' status is in question, so that moved the line up a point.
I saw yesterday, did anything move for the series price? Dallas plus 600, Celtics minus 900?
Yeah, we're sitting at Boston minus 800, Dallas plus 550 now. That moves along with the game spread today.
All right, very interesting here because, when you look at player props and this Tatum and Jaylen Brown scenario is really unique, but Kyrie Irving, Jeff, is fascinating to me because I'm not a fan of Kyrie. I thought he was an awful teammate, not only in Brooklyn, but in Boston here. But I expected a little bit more out of him. What are you seeing there in regards to Kyrie props going forward, considering he's one of the best handles and best players in the league when he's on fire?
Yeah, his number's been 23.5 points for the first few games, and the public has been betting him over, and they really bet him over last game because he had a disappointing game one. So it's we're looking at 23.5 for next game right now, and we're getting two-way action on that, but it's been steady at that number.
23.5 for Kyrie Irving. I got to think he's got to go over that number at home in his first game at home, or he's going to take a lot of heat for what's happening here. Let's move to hockey. Really disappointed in this series, but I know how good Florida is. We got a chance to see the Golden Knights match up against them, but what are you sensing here with Edmonton? Because that's a team that I think is going to wake up when they get back to Edmonton.
Yeah, and that's what the feeling is with the line right now. And the line opened Edmonton minus 115 in this spot. It's up to minus 135, and some of that has to do with Barkov's status too. I'd be surprised if he plays. So it's a obviously must-win spot for Edmonton, and they're seeing the early money in this game.
Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate. Head on out to the Westgate, especially to watch the U.S. Open golf this weekend. We'll get to that momentarily. Jeff, anything you want to add on Caitlyn Clark, WNBA, the handle, because the Aces are going for a three-peat. But everybody I talk to is talking only about Caitlyn Clark, her numbers, her prop, and obviously the team. The team's really struggling, but she's the storyline.
Yeah, the handle is it's been solid. It's up about 20% from where we were last year. And we put up Caitlyn Clark props on a daily basis whenever her games occur, and we see tremendous handle on that. The public likes to bet her over on her points, and it's definitely there's a lot of involvement with the public in that.
All right, so I got some sharp golf guys that you know who are now just on Scotty Scheffler no matter what. No matter what you price it at, they're going to be on Scotty Scheffler. He's having a Tiger Woods run, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to track him down here. This is your specialty amongst others. Tell us about Scotty Scheffler heading into the U.S. Open.
Yeah, you'd think this would be tailor-made for him. I mean, his tee to green metrics are by far better than anybody else. That's exactly what you need here. And these are always tough. We have the winning score at 5.5 under par right now, and the uniqueness to this course is when you approach the greens, there's a lot of runoff around it. So you really need to have your approach shots on point this week, and he's definitely a standout with that one. And he's commanding support at anytime we go to 7-2, we see support for him.
I noticed today, because I was watching on Golf Channel, they were just dropping balls on the green and they were rolling off, or just how fast they are there. Is that typical for Pinehurst number 2, or does it look like it's dried out a little bit more and it's going to be a tougher golf course than in years past for majors there to get a low score?
Yeah, it's usually a fast and firm course. And if you look back over time, the last time 10 years ago, Keimer won it at 9 under, but he won by 8 shots. So if you kind of throw out that aberration, then the previous years was 1 under and even par. So you're looking right around a par for a winning score. It's really tough, but the evolution of the game, what we've seen the low scores the past couple of years, that's why we set it at 5.5 under par this time around.
Jeff, what about the high prices here for Rahm and Smith and Spieth at 80-1 at a U.S. Open? Dustin Johnson, a former champ, at 100-1. Mention some of those names, and especially some of the live golfers there too, with such high prices.
Yeah, these are some classic names that are dealing with a lot of issues right now. Rahm just withdrew last week in the live, so there's not a lot of people interested in him. His odds keep drifting up. Spieth is dealing with a wrist issue. Dustin Johnson just hasn't done anything for a while, and no one's really interested in supporting him. So we keep drifting the odds up to see if there's any takers, and usually we get to a point that there is. We've seen some support for Rahm at 35-1. He's back down to 30. TJ, when he hit 100, now he's back down to 80. So keep adjusting these things, and you want to look, they're fluid odds all the way until the tournament starts.
Jeff Sherman, as we wrap it up from the Westgate, I'm sure you saw exactly what I saw with Tiger's practice round. Man, he looks fit and healthy and comfortable. But we've said that before heading into majors, and then he always seems like he's a guy who tries to shoot just par. He doesn't take a lot of chances in his opening round, and then he just, making the cut. I want to ask you about the price for him making the cut. And do you feel that this course, the U.S. Open, is always the toughest major for him to score?
I do feel it's the toughest. I'm actually surprised he's playing. I think the Masters and the Open Championship are the two most suitable for him at this point in his career. And he got a special exemption to be in it. He wasn't qualified for it this week. But his cut price is to make the cut no minus $3, yes plus 240. We're seeing public play on the no on that. His first round score, we opened 74.5, which is 4.5 over par, down to 73.5. So there's some support for him to go under. And if you looked at his tendency over the last couple of years, he usually has that solid first round, or relatively solid first round, and then higher second round. So we see people betting under in the first round.
You got it, Jeff. Always great information, especially with the U.S. Open. We'll talk to you in a few weeks.
Okay, thanks, JT.
There he is over at the Westgate. Jeff Sherman, one of the sharpest guys we know, setting the lines over there. Very interesting. I cannot wait for the matchups here. Cannot wait for the matchups. I believe the first 2 rounds, Scotty Scheffler is paired with Rory McIlroy and Xander Schauffele. So I know exactly what's going to happen. They're just going to show them. So the other guys, unless they go low, they're going to just stay with the leaders. And what's happening with Scotty Scheffler now is fascinating, because he did get arrested, and then he got off on the charges in Louisville at Valhalla for the incident that happened there. His wife just gave birth to their baby. I think he's won 6 times. He just got greeted by Jack Nicklaus after winning the Memorial. And the guy's winning everything. He's having one of those years. So I know a lot of golf gamblers who don't like to bet the favorites. Why would you? Why would you bet the favorites when the favorites aren't automatic? They're betting him now, no matter what the price is, because they feel really confident that he's going to get it done. That's an hour down. We got another hour to go as I'll jump off YouTube here and we'll start getting it going here. Start to wake up some Raider fans coming off what I thought was a really good media day yesterday. We have some sound on that. And then on top of that, we're going to get to some news on what happened here today. A couple of the insiders posting on what's going on. We have sound from Jacoby Myers that we want to get to on the other side. And again, it's a full-service sports talk show. I can talk the next hour, or we can hear from some Raider fans on your number one goal at minicamp. What do you want to see here? I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but I want to see them work. So for over the years, I have not been a guy that wants to put players in plastic bubble wrap. Coddle the players. Make it easy on them. Oh, my God, they might get hurt. You can get hurt stepping off a crosswalk. You can get hurt playing basketball. You can get hurt doing anything. Play football and play hard when you get these guys in the building, when you get them out on the practice field. We're brought to you by the M Resort Spa and Casino, where hundreds of Raider alumni spent this past weekend.
It's one of the biggest rivalries in all of
Thanks,
sports
everyone.
as the New York Yankees are in Boston to take on the Red Sox. Sunday at 4 on ESPN Las Vegas, 1100 AM and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by Paul Paddle Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
McFadden Dale Industrial Hardware is your one-stop place to shop with everything you need for your next project.